Hello, hello, hello. Hello, God's beautiful people. I am back with a quick word. If this is your first time here, my name is Tara, and God uses me to speak encouragement, life prophetically into the lives of his children based on whatever it is he gives me to speak. If you are returning, I welcome you back, and I welcome you all in the name of Jesus. Now, this particular word God gave me yesterday morning. I woke up early, and I always tell y'all I'm going to be transparent no matter what. And I'm going to be honest. I was in a discouraged place. I was just like, and this is only because there's some things that's going on personally in my life, and this position God has me in keeps me from doing what I would normally do for the people that I love. And so, I was just, I'm like, God, I feel like a whole fool. Like, this is really discouraging me. Like, it is really tearing me down. And I'm like, I've been obedient, and I've been moving the way you say move and do the things you say do. And I just don't see nothing. And I'm like, I'm feeling like a whole fool in these streets, God, because it's been a minute. And God starts to speak to me about Noah. And he showed me Noah, and he was like, and he showed me the ark. And he began to show me, he was like, people not gonna understand why I chose you, how I chose you. They're not gonna understand. To some people, you are going to be the least of them who you feel like God would use mightily. And like I said, then he began to show me Noah. And he was like, but see, people didn't understand Noah had a heart for God. Noah was faithful. And that's why he was able to choose Noah, because he knew that Noah was going to do what he asked him to do, regardless of how it made him look, regardless of how it made him feel. And God was like, could you imagine being told that I want you to build this ark, this big giant boat, and I'm going to send rain? Now, let me just paint this picture. That was something that had never been seen before. So just imagine you're waiting on God to do something that has never been done before, but in the process, he has you preparing for it like he does us. But nobody can see that thing. And you ain't never seen that thing. But all you know is what God told you. All you know is what he spoke to your heart. All you know is that you have faith in him, and you believe him, and you trust him. And then God said this to me: I will not put you to shame. And that thing did a lot for me, because like I said, at this very moment, there's somewhere else I feel like I need to be. But God told me trusting me is not going to put you to shame. I promise you that what I have spoken shall come to pass. I can assure you that you will not be embarrassed in these streets, that people will see the glory of the Lord on your life. Just like Noah. Noah couldn't convince anybody else of what God had showed him. So could you imagine how long it took to build that thing? And I'm pretty sure there was days where Noah felt like, I look like a whole fool out here building this thing. And God done gave him specific instructions on how to build it and how big it should be. And everybody looking at him like he crazy. You building something for something that none of us know what it is or what it looks like. But you say God told you to do it. Yeah, you look like a whole crazy person. And that's how people look at us. People look at us like, oh, you waiting on God to tell you where you should live? Oh, you waiting on God to tell you who you're supposed to marry? Oh, you're waiting on God to tell you what business to start? Oh, you waiting on God to bless you with the house? Oh, you waiting on God to bless you with the finances? Oh, you waiting on God to tell you when to move left, when to move right, when to go forward, when to go backward? You look crazy. But God said, trust him. He is not going to put you to shame. You believing him, you trusting him, you knowing what you heard and you standing on that. God says, continue to stand. Now, God told me to put this word out yesterday, y'all, and I'm going to just be honest. I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it. Even after that, I wasn't feeling it. It was like I just couldn't bring it together. I'm like, God, help me. And when I woke up this morning, I had an alert on my phone. And it was this message that talked about Noah. And God said that he promised. And that blessed me. It gave me the confirmation to come and give this message that God gave to me yesterday morning. Let me tell you something, because I'm right there with y'all, that all this standing, all this trusting, all this believing and not seeing is taxing, okay? It's hard. It's hard to stand for something that don't know. God hadn't spoke to nobody but you. And y'all, my situation is so unique. But I can't go into detail because God hadn't called me to. But just know that when I tell y'all I'm standing alone, I'm standing alone. I have the support of a few in my immediate family. Kind of like how all Jesus had was his mama. Yeah. All Jesus had was Mary that believed in him. That's kind of like where I'm at. That's kind of like in this process, you know, those few people are the ones that keep me grounded and keep and tells me like, you're not crazy. Like, I know you wouldn't be doing this if God didn't speak it to you. Because I'm telling you, at times I start to wonder, like, God, am I tripping? Because this thing don't look the way I thought it was supposed to look. And just yesterday, I was saying to my cousin, I'm like, I've given up everything. Everything. I've given up everything for God. I have literally everything that identified me as Tara, I have let it go. Everything that I built, I let it go. Everything that I did in my own strength, I let it go. And I'm literally trusting God with my whole life. My whole life. And I'm like, I am to the point where there's nothing else to give. God, I'm waiting on you. Like, I've literally given it all up. Everything. So for those of you that God has chosen and he has led you to give it all up in obedience for him, he said he's not going to put you to shame. He sent me to tell you that you will not be embarrassed. You will not give up. You will remain in obedience. You will stand and you will trust him because he said he will not put you to shame. I need y'all to hear that. I need y'all to feel that in your spirit. I need you to know that what you are dealing with in this moment, and I don't care how impossible it looks, we have to know that what God is doing is bigger than us. What he is doing, it's more than what we see with our natural eyes. I said this to my sister one time, that I truly live my life in the spirit. Meaning, I don't live my life based on what I see. I don't live my life based on what it looked like in the natural. Because if I did that, I would crumble. I would crumble. I would not be able to encourage you. I would not be able to hear God's voice. I will not be able to speak life into his people. Like I literally, just the other day, and I got some not so good news, and I literally broke down and cried. And in between that, I had told somebody, I had already scheduled a coaching. And that person, when it was time for that coaching, I dried those tears and I did what God had sent me to do. Let me tell you something, push through. Remember that word about Antarctica, about those penguins. You gotta push through. This is your Antarctica. You gonna struggle, but you gotta persevere. Because God said that is what's going to help you. That is what's going to get you to the promise. And he promises it will not be in vain, that you will not crumble under the pressure. You will not crumble under all of the naysayers. I can assure you. I can assure you, because God is not man that he shall lie. But I have my moments, y'all, that I truly have to live my life based on what God says. Because if I base it on what I see, it makes absolutely no sense to me. And I will not make it. So I'm encouraging you, live your life in the spirit. Live your life based on what God told you. Please don't base it on what you see, because that is when the enemy comes in and tries to distort everything that God has spoken over your life. God says he's not putting you to shame. He says, just like he made the promise with Noah, just like he sent the rain, just like he put the rainbow in the sky, just like he did all of those things, he is not going to put you to shame. He is going to keep his promise, and he is going to come through just for you because you were obedient to what he instructed you to do. I love y'all, and I will be back with another word from the Lord.